This is PTV News. Good evening. I'm Catherine Vital with Richmond Cruz. In the news tonight, persons involved in cyber sedition will be arrested. Thus warned Information and Communications Technology Secretary Rodolfo Salalima, who told Malacanang newsmen that they have tracked individuals who have committed cyber sedition. According to Secretary Salalima, arrests will be made. Meanwhile, in the same press briefing, presidential spokesperson Ernesto Abella said timely action by the government and the military prevented what might have been a worse situation in Marawi City. On the physical condition of President Rodrigo Duterte, Abella said the chief executive is in excellent health. Here's Rocky Ignacio with added details.
President Rodrigo Duterte's health is in good condition. Presidential spokesperson Ernesto Abella said this following the president's non-appearance in the flag-raising ceremony for the Independence Day celebration at Rizal Park.
The president is actually in excellent health, except for the fact that his schedules have been brutal.
He said there's no need for a doctor's prescription but advised him to take some rest. The president was busy going around to personally extend sympathy and recognition to the bereaved families of soldiers who were killed in the continuing operations against terrorists in Marawi City.
You have to credit the president, considering everything, that he has been actually honoring the military dead, the civilian dead, and he has been actually going around. And in fact, he would have wanted to be at the symbolic raising and honoring of the dead. However, the fact is, he was already doing it for the rest of the week. So I think we need to allow him a few rest. He was actually on top of the situation. However, he also needed rest.
The government believed that the terrorist force is dwindling after more than 2 weeks of fighting. The safety of civilians is still the priority of troops on the grounds.
Give credit to the military and understand that they were actually acting purposively and decisively and actually preempted. I think the key word is preempted. Okay, so I think it's not a question of being failure or what. From their point of view, from our point of view, we were able to stop something that could have been much, much bigger.
Meantime, the Department of Information and Communications Technology is now coordinating with the Armed Forces of the Philippines to ensure cybersecurity against the Maute group.
We are involved. Confidential lang, ha?
Okay.
Confidential lang ito. We are involved, confidential, may huhuli na. Cyber sedition. May huhuli. We are not going to name the persons. You are able to track about more than one last night. To the extent that they effect or they commit cyber crimes, then the ICC takes over. Remember, rebellion, sedition are crimes under the old penal code. You do sedition, you incite people via cyber or via internet. I call it, there is cyber rebellion, there is cyber sedition.
In spite incident in Marawi City, the Philippines maintains its potential for investments.
The United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, UNCTAD, has stated in its World Investment Report 2017 that the Philippines is included in the list of most promising investment destination in the Asian region. In addition, it also reported that the foreign direct investment inflow of the Philippines in 2016 has recorded an increase of 60%, amounting to 8 billion.
For the Nation, Rocky Ignacio.
Whether the Maute group's takeover of the city of Marawi satisfies a condition of invasion or rebellion is at the heart of the matter in the oral arguments between the nation's Attorney General and petitioners from the opposition seeking to have the president's placement of Mindanao under military rule rescinded for lack of probable cause. Details in this report filed by Joy Gumatay.
It was an intense Tuesday for the Supreme Court of the Philippines with the commencement of the 3-day oral arguments on the declaration of martial law in the whole of Mindanao. The petitioners group was given the privilege to first proceed a presentation of the arguments against Proclamation 216, placing the entire southern frontier under military rule. Led by Albay 1st District Representative Edsel Lagman, the group stressed that the Marawi City takeover is not under condition of either invasion or rebellion as provided for in the 1987 Charter. The legislator added that the counterattacks of terrorism are protective measures to guard their leader Isnilon Hapilon and the Maute brothers from military captivity.
The facts would show that it was the government which initiated the armed conflict as abetted by the defense and military officials.
Moreover, Solicitor General Jose Calida will stand up to defend President Rodrigo Duterte's decision until Thursday. As a matter of fact, he is urging the highest court to immediately junk the consolidated petition against Proclamation 216, for it revealed no factual basis and its arguments are deemed misleading, particularly the claim that Marawi City attack is not under crimes of either invasion or rebellion.
Sino bang Pilipino hindi naniniwala na may rebellion ngayon, di ba? Nakikita nyo araw-araw kayo, media, you're covering it. Andun lahat ng elements ng rebellion. Public uprising, di ba? Taking away the allegiance of Marawi and the parts of Mindanao.
Even though the oral arguments just began, Calida is confident he will win the Supreme Court's judgment, as his fight for Proclamation 216 is a fight for the restoration of peace in Marawi and to the entire Mindanao.
Para sa bayan itong laban na ito. We will do our best to win this case.
For the nation, Joy Gumatay.
There is absolutely nothing constitutionally askew or improper over the president placing Mindanao under military rule, as well as engaging U.S. technical support and assistance in intelligence and surveillance against the Islamist extremist foes in the ongoing Marawi siege. So say two senators who claim both actions fall perfectly within the purview of the Constitution and the nation's statutes. In this report from Sweden, Velado.
Senator Panfilo Lacson believes that the Supreme Court will respect the Senate and the House of Representatives in deciding whether to revoke or extend the martial law currently being implemented in Mindanao. Two petitions were submitted by the Senate Minority Bloc before the adjournment on June 3 to call for a joint session and revoke the declared martial law. But according to Lacson, he sees no reason to revoke it.
Maski sabihin pa ng mga kritiko, yung nag-oopo sa martial law na walang basihan, malinaw na malinaw. Ano ba yung definition o yung elemento ng rebellion? May rebellion pagka merong taking arms against the government with the use of violence or force, yung may public uprising. At ang purpose noong pag-take up ng arms against the government, alisin yung allegiance sa duly constituted authorities sa gobyerno, yung teritoryo ng Pilipinas or any part thereof.
Senator J.V. Ejercito believes the rebellion of Maute Group in Marawi City is already a strong ground to declare martial law in the whole of Mindanao. He thinks with the current situation and based on AFP reports, there is a possibility to extend the martial law period, and when that time comes, a joint session is a must in accordance to our Constitution.
We are not dealing with ordinary criminals, ordinary rebels. These are terrorists.
Meanwhile, Senator Ejercito says there is nothing irregular with the presence of U.S. military troops in Marawi City. They are believed to be helping our local forces in fighting Maute Group. Ejercito adds this is high time to unite, as terrorism is now an international problem.
We welcome it. Obviously, they have far superior equipment, technology, which we do not have. So kung makakatulong ito in pinpointing the positions.
The lawmaker feels this could spark possible reconciliation of the Philippines and United States military relations. But this could only happen if the U.S. will finally show its sincerity in helping our country by providing quality military equipment to our Filipino soldiers, as this was one of the reasons why President Rodrigo Duterte decided to push split with the U.S.
For example, sa mga armas, bawa yung mga barkong kinuha natin, wala naman lamang armas. Yung mga supersonic jets natin na bago, wala ring mga missiles, no? So dapat siguro kung talagang ang Estados Unidos naman, kung tinuturing tayong talagang one of their closest allies, dapat ibigay din nila yung mga dapat na armas para kaya nating depensahan ang sarili natin.
For the Nation, Sweden Velado.
President Rodrigo Duterte's mojo is as potent today as it was on the stump a little over a year ago. In the face of mounting criticism over his inability to provide attention to other issues as much as he does to the all-out war against illegal drugs and his allegedly ill-advised declaration of martial law, two more pundits have stood up and spoken in his defense, lashing out on those railing against him in this report from Trixie Jafar.
Experts believe that no individual can rightfully declare martial law based on their judgment other than President Rodrigo Duterte in order to solve and neutralize the present crisis in Marawi City as well as with the whole nation. This has been echoed by Antonio Butch Valdez, who is a political analyst and economist.
As in the whole country today, that is an advantage point to decide whether or not there should be a martial law. It is not up to you, not up to me, not up to anybody who's not in the position of the presidency.
Another political analyst, Herman Q. Laurel, also reiterated that the said move made by the president is appropriate to stop further occurrence of rebellion, invasion, and terrorism in the country at large.
The only individual in this entire country of 105 million Filipinos who have all the information and maybe still incomplete about what the ISIS and the other groups may be doing in preparation to create lawless violence and anarchy, that is the president.
Moreover, they added that the government should be vigilant and pay close attention to the unsolicited assistance given by the U.S. in Marawi City. They also stressed that our armed forces is capable of neutralizing the present situation in Marawi without the help of outside government forces.
But any kind of unsolicited assistance, we must be very, very careful, because just like receiving a unexpected gift from some other elements, all gift wrap, when you open it, it might be a bomb, right?
The Philippine government and the Philippine military has advanced a great deal in terms of competence and even despite the limitations, the armaments that it has. Besides, the independent foreign policy of President Duterte now allows them to acquire brand new equipment from Russia, China, and any other country in the world.
Meanwhile, they slammed the opposition and critics of the present administration, saying that this group's agenda are self-motivated and based on their own interest and not that of the nation.
They want their names remembered one day when they run for senator or for some other public office. So they're putting their interest, their self-interest ahead of that of the nation.
It can be recalled that despite protests against the government, many Filipinos still maintains their trust and confidence with President Duterte's policies and advocacies based on the latest survey released by the Social Weather Station. For the Nation, Trixie Jafar.
The Marawi City terrorist siege enters its fourth week with more trapped civilians being rescued by government forces. Meanwhile, the AFP has yet to validate a claim by the arrested Maute matriarch that her two sons who led the siege have been killed and buried. This report by Jervis Manahan.
Jennifer Velasquez was limping and had a wounded leg when we saw him. He was trapped in the firefight in Marawi City for 3 weeks, and when he tried to escape, Maute shot his leg.
Kahit na natamaan, tumakbo pa rin ako kasi kahit na masakit, tumakbo pa rin ako para mabuhay. Kagabi, lalong dumudugo.
He said he was doing construction work when the war began last May 23. His boss didn't allow them to go home, so they only hid in his house.
Sabi namin, may narinig kami na putukan. Sabi namin, uwi na kami kasi may putukan na. Sabi niya, huwag kayong matakot. Malayo lang yun.
They hid for 3 weeks, even without food to eat. Due to so much hunger, they did what they call a suicide escape from Maute. But the bandits fired indiscriminately to their direction. They had to scout for cover and stay for one night until the military can rescue them this morning. The siege has been ongoing for 3 weeks now, and the AFP are still unrelenting with their attacks. The AFP is also validating Farhana Maute's statements that her sons Omar and Abdullah are both dead, and it was her who buried them.
These are all for validation. Yun din ang nagiging source kasi nila ng support nila logistics and even out for escape in the area. So we were able to see that area already.
The AFP has advanced a lot and has even claimed key battle positions. Maute's number has also lessened to 150 to 200. For The Nation, Jervis Manahan, Marawi City.
The government has allowed the importation of rice through the open scheme or government to private scheme. Cabinet Secretary June Evasco announced this after the National Food Authority Council and the NFA policy-making body approved the change from government to private scheme. Secretary Evasco explained that the rice importation is designed to augment NFA's buffer stock and ensure food security in the country.
Received overwhelming support from the National Food Security Committee, or the NFSC. In support of the Council's decision, the NFSC explains in its May 18, 2017 resolution that the G2P is more transparent since its bidding process is guided by RA 9184, otherwise known as Government Procurement Reform Act. The policy shift to G2P is consistent with President Duterte's call for change. The Council believes that we have to be aggressive in our actions when trying to obtain our nationalistic goals such as food security.
For our business news, the Department of Trade and Industry continues to closely monitor prices of basic commodities in Mindanao. This is to ensure that no unscrupulous traders will take advantage of the current peace and order situation in the region. Kenneth Paciente has more.
Price freeze is still being implemented in Mindanao due to the continuing turmoil in the region. This includes basic commodities like canned goods and agricultural products such as vegetables, eggs, chicken, and pork. According to the Department of Trade and Industry, price freeze is also being implemented in rice, but they are receiving information that there are several traders who sell commercial rice inside Marawi City costing more than 200 pesos per kilo. DTI explained,
nobody will sell if nobody will buy. Apparently, some people who are left behind there, taking care of their properties, are willing to go that way. They have no choice, and they're willing to spend. Otherwise, why will you sell if nobody's going to buy? And people perhaps bringing it there are selling it at their own risk. Not only because it's expensive, but you bring in and then tamaan ka ng bala o to. It's a matter of to whom it may concern.
Construction materials in the region are also being monitored. DTI also cited that local traders are delighted because of the martial law in Mindanao.
Traders are saying that in a way they are happy of martial law because their goods and the transport of goods are more secure than when it was on regular time.
DTI also added that there are no foreign traders who withdrew despite of the conflict happening in the country. Meanwhile, DTI keeps on monitoring the market in the area if traders are complying with the price freeze. For The Nation, Kenneth Paciente.
Eye-catching, inspiring. A feel-good story packed in half a minute of video with a big reveal at the end of a blind Japanese retiree enjoying the fun and feel of the 100 Islands, rice terraces, the coolness of Sagada in the Ifugao province, and the rustic Calle Crisologo, all because he is at home and safe in the hands of Filipinos. One little problem. The ad has an uncanny resemblance to a 2014 commercial produced in South Africa, which has caught the imagination and ire of netizens thinking plagiarism in this report from Diane Carrera.
The new tourism ad entitled Sites, launched by the Department of Tourism, earned various reactions from the public. The minute-long clip captured the unique experiences of a Japanese retiree enjoying some tourist destinations in the country, particularly those in the northern part of the Philippines, like the 100 Islands of Pangasinan and Banawe rice terraces with the Ifugaos. Though many were amazed and touched with the ad, some netizens pointed out that the ad was copied from a tourism ad of South Africa released last 2014. Both ads featured a blind person, which was revealed towards the end of the commercial. According to McCann World Group Philippines, the ad agency behind the commercial, the concept was based on a true story of a real Japanese national who chose to retire in the Philippines.
It is unfortunate that the DOT has been called out and accused of plagiarism for work that we have done to highlight the testimonial of a real retiree. We take full responsibility as all ideas and storyboards presented were conceptualized by McCann World Group Philippines. We also underscore that there has never been any intention to copy others' creative work.
The Department of Tourism also denied the plagiarism accusation. DOT also has no plans of recalling the ad.
We stand by McCann. We stand by the creative execution. We know for a fact that the Philippines is a choice destination and is also a choice place to stay for retirees.
DOT further explains that the ad aims to invite retirees from different countries to retire in the Philippines.
It's important to note that under the DOT, we have a Philippine Retirement Authority. And we have now something like 27,000 that are registered with special visas. And we know for a fact that Japan is one of the countries that have chosen the Philippines to be a retirement place.
After the tourism ad entitled Anak, Sites is the second to the series of commercial released by DOT with a goal of promoting tourism in the country.
Despite the criticisms on the new tourism ad, DOT believes that the ad conveys the message that the Philippines is a beautiful place to visit. It is friendly with PWDs, and the country is a destination of choice for retirees. For The Nation, Diane Querer.
The stock market slightly went down today. The Philippine Stock Exchange Index shed 0.91% or 72.35 points to 7,917.89 points. All the counters also finished the day in the red, with all shares down 0.88% or 41.21 points to 4,707.42 points. Property posted the biggest drop among the sectors after it pulled back 2.47%, followed by industrial by 1.10% and services by 1.06%. Volume for the day reached 1.73 billion shares, amounting to 11.23 billion pesos. Losers led gainers at 132 to 68, while 43 stocks were in change.
Martinez, and you're watching PTV Info Weather. Few thunderstorm clouds hovering over sections of Visayas as well as portions of southern Luzon. We're looking at the ridge or extension of the high pressure area over the North Pacific, and will continue to bring drier weather condition over Luzon and Visayas as well until tomorrow. Now, Pag-asa says this weather system will prevail until Friday. Now, based on the latest rain satellite map, we can spot some light to moderate rain showers over sections of Bicol region, Samar and Leyte provinces, and northern sections of Mindanao. Meanwhile, as for the forecast tomorrow over northern Luzon, rain showers will be concentrated over Aurora, Isabela area, and sunny weather is up for Ilocos region as well as Cordillera and Cagayan Valley, all the way up to Basco, Batanes, and Calayan group of islands. As for those in central and southern Luzon, generally dry weather is up over central Luzon, particularly in Nueva Ecija and portions of Subic and Bataan area, while cloudy skies over portions of Clark and Iba, Zambales, and Mimaropa provinces may have partly cloudy skies tomorrow as well. Now, let's head on down south in the Visayas. Rain showers will be concentrated over Samar and Leyte provinces, all the way down to Bohol and Cebu and Negros provinces, while dry weather condition is up for Mindoro and sections of Panay Island. As for those of you in Mindanao, prepare for some thunderstorms and light rain showers over Caraga region and portions of Davao region, as well as sections of General Santos City and the Zamboanga Peninsula, while the rest of Mindanao will enjoy sunny weather over northern Mindanao, ARMM, as well as here in Soxargen area. Meanwhile, let's take a quick look at our Metro City's forecast over the next few days. And that's the latest for now, only here on PTV InfoWeather. For the Nation, Ice Martinez.
For the first time, Freedom Day rides were also held in Philippine waters east of Luzon. A Philippine flag encased in a fiberglass was emplaced on the Philippine rice, formerly called the Benham rice. Eunice Maute was there and she filed this report.
Another historical symbolic celebration of the 190th Independence Day made a mark in one of the most controversial territories of the Philippines next to the West Philippine Sea, at the bottom of the Philippine Rice, formerly known as the Benham Rice. Aboard BRP Davao del Sur, or the biggest warship of the Philippine Navy, this is the first in the history of Independence Day celebration. Underwater flag racing at the Philippine Rice Plateau, headed by the defenders of our land, the Armed Forces of the Philippines. A strong symbolism of our sovereignty and our freedom from all our biggest oppressors. As the clock strikes 8, simultaneous flag racing was observed by the Northern Luzon Command aboard the ship and underwater. Just like the normal flagpole, the base of the flag has a height of 14 feet in depth and 70 meters, with a standard size of flag laminated with fiberglass to ensure that it will not break despite the strong waves. Other than the professional foreign and local divers, there were also technical divers from Philippine Navy, Coast Guards, and BFAR.
Wala, maingat natin, iningatan natin. Although na napakahirap nung ginawa nating yung diving activities ngayon. Pero talagang una sa lahat, safety ng divers, iningatan natin lahat.
This, according to Lieutenant General Romeo Tanalgo, will serve as the marker for our right to defend our country. It can be recalled that on April 12, 2012, the Commission on the Limits of the Continental Shelf of the United Nations recognized Benham Rice as part of the Philippine Exclusive Economic Zone.
This is to assert our sovereignty or our sovereign rights over Benham Rice or Philippine rice, so to speak. And this is also in compliance with the direction of the Commander-in-Chief for the Armed Forces of the Philippines to put a structure or to assert our claim.
Last year, some of the survey ships of China were seen in the area for some reasons. Meanwhile, the AFP assured the public that they are more than willing to defend our motherland in the best way that they can. This symbolic flag hoisting is just one of the proof that Filipinos are willing to defend the Republic using all our available resources amidst the emerging challenges of times. Reporting from the Philippine Rice, for PTV News, Eunice Maute.
Two fallen soldiers will be given a hero's burial this coming weekend. First Lieutenants John Kendrick Savellano and Raymond Abad will be laid to rest at the Libingan ng mga Bayani in Taguig City. They were among the soldiers killed in clashes with Maute terrorists in Marawi City. More from Kenneth Paciente.
The wake continues at the Philippine Marines headquarters for 3 soldiers killed in the armed clashes in Marawi City. They are First Lieutenant Raymond Abad, Private First Class Marvin Russell Gomez, and First Lieutenant John Frederick Savellano. Savellano's internment will be on Saturday at the Libingan ng mga Bayani in Taguig. He was the leader of the troops who discovered more than 70 million pesos in cash and checks at the abandoned hideout of the Maute group. According to Savellano's parents, they have no regrets that they let their son join the military because he is now considered as a hero for fighting for Marawi's liberty.
Wala kaming pagsisisi na pumasok sa Philippine Marines. Kasi mula nang pumasok siya ng Philippine Marines, nag-graduate siya at nai-deploy siya sa Palembang. Ang kanyang first assignment as a military, in-offer na namin siya sa Panginoon. Binigay na namin siya sa Panginoon. Ang lagi namin dasal sa Panginoon, kung anong gusto mo, ikaw nang bahala.
His mother meanwhile expressed her resentment towards Maute Group.
Mother's feeling, galit ako siyempre. Yung pakiramdam na sinaktan nila yung anak ko. Kasi yung anak ko, precious yan eh. Hindi ko nga yung mapadapo sa lamok, no? Sa langaw. Tapos sinaktan, pinatay.
On Saturday, 1st Lieutenant John Frederick Savellano and 1st Lieutenant Raymond Abad will be brought to the libingan ng mga bayani, their final resting place, while Private First Class Marvin Russell Gomez will be brought to his hometown in General Santos City on Thursday. Meanwhile, the remains of Private First Class Hener Tinangad was brought by a 6x6 truck of the Philippine Army to his hometown in Mountain Province and is set to be buried on Sunday. His sister Noveline wishes that Maute Group will soon stop their harassment in Mindanao.
Hindi matatapos ang buwan na to. Tapos na po sana yung gulo doon. Para po wala nang mamamatay pa.
For the Nation, Kenneth Pasyente.
The Philippine flag is now flying at half-staff in government offices. This is in honor of troops killed in military operations against Maute terrorists in Marawi City. Here's Julius Isambron.
Government offices have begun flying the Philippine flag at half-mast today, June 13. The Armed Forces of the Philippines explained that this is a symbol of respect and mourning for fallen soldiers and the civilians who died in the continuing clashes in Marawi City. This is also a reminder that the freedom being enjoyed now is a result of the sacrifices of many Filipinos before them. The Philippine flag will remain the half-mast for the rest of the week. Furthermore, the AFP encouraged the public to trust the government troops and ask Filipinos of all faiths and ethnic groups to say a short prayer for the heroes and the innocent victims who perished, for the soldiers and the civilians who are caught in the battlefield, and for the peace and unity in the Philippines. Earlier, AFP spokesperson Brigadier General Restituto Padilla Jr. reiterated that the military is determined to finish this mission not only for the citizens of Marawi, but for the people of the Philippines. In a statement, Presidential spokesperson Ernesto Abella announced the observation of a high noon tribute for the troops and civilians.
The names of our brave soldiers who died fighting in Marawi will be flashed on TV and read over the radio with the sound of taps at 12 noon as a tribute to their heroism for making the ultimate sacrifice for the flag and the country we love. We enjoin the public to honor these heroes and civilians and pray for them and the families they left behind.
The government forces continue to perform their mandate with high moral and integrity as they protect everyone from unscrupulous elements. For the Nation, Julius Tisamboron.
For our sports tonight, Golden State head coach Steve Kerr does not consider their series win over the Cleveland Cavaliers as a dominant display of their ball club. He reiterated this moments after their title-clinching 129-120 Game 5 victory over the Cavs. Despite their 4-1 series win, Kerr insisted they had to go through the proverbial eye of the needle to reclaim the NBA crown, which they won 2 seasons ago. Meantime, Kerr admitted he was amazed by the talents displayed by both squads that led to an interesting final series. Kerr has now won 2 NBA crowns as a coach, his first happening in 2015 when he led the Warriors to the championship against the LeBron James-led Cavs.
I was just blown away, as I mentioned earlier, about the talent on the floor for both teams. And I mean, the shot making, and the game has changed so much, you know, in terms of the spacing and the shooting. And you're looking out there and you're like, how are we going to stop anybody? And I'm sure Ty was saying the same thing, you know. But we have an amazing group of talented players, skilled guys who came up big when it counted and you know, pulled away in the fourth quarter.
Starting this week, the Chooks Pilipinas 3-on-3 team will begin their campaign at the FIBA 3-on-3 World Cup to be held in Nantes, France. And one of those excited about the occasion is former 2-time UAAP MVP Kiefer Ravina. Kesun Chon tells us why.
Team effort is the key to victory for the Philippines at the 2017 FIBA 3-on-3 World Cup, which will start this coming Saturday in Nantes, France. Two-time UAAP MVP Kiefer Ravena believes this, given the fact that the country will be sending over a young team. He sees the need to double their effort, together with Kobe Paras, Jaron Teng, and J.R. Quinyahan, to be able to keep up with the moves of the European team champions and number 2 seeded Slovenia and Romania, as well as El Salvador and host France.
Tayo mga Pinoy, hindi naman tayo papatalo and mapabibigay lang sa mga malalaki at sa mas mga malalakas sa atin. So kami nila Kobe, nila Jeron, nila Koy GR, hindi namin best namin para kung ano man yung nagkukulang sa amin, harap yung paraan para mapalitan yun.
Aside from the FIBA 3-on-3 World Cup, the 6-footer guard was also invited to sweat it out with the Gilas Pilipinas National Training Pool in preparation for 3 separate international basketball tournaments.
You know, I'm just so proud na, di ba, si Abad Championship, start of a new program with Coach Chot, and very thankful ako na nabigyan pa rin ng opportunity ng SPT na makapag-represent ng country.
The Philippines will first see action opposite 2014 FIBA 3-on-3 European champions Romania on June 18 at 6 in the evening. For the nation, Kay Asuncion.
The bullseye is the dead center part of a shooting target, most of which are red in color when it comes to sports and gold in traditional archery. The bullseye is the highest point score given in a hitting target. This is also the basis of the accuracy and precision of a shooter. Moreover, the term bullseye can find its origin from hunters who used to sharpen their skills by targeting the eye sockets of a bull's skull. Weapons may have modernized since then, but the word bullseye has remained in the minds of people, especially when it comes to shooting games. In the headlines, Information and Communication Technology Secretary Rodolfo Salalima reveals having tracked individuals who have committed cyber sedition and are facing arrest. Presidential spokesperson Ernesto Abella assures President Rodrigo Duterte remains in excellent health. The Supreme Court holds oral arguments on petitions against the declaration of martial law in Mindanao. Government forces rescue more civilians trapped in clashes against Maute terrorists in Marawi City.
And those were today's headline stories on PTV News. I'm Catherine Vital with Richmond Cruz. Thank you and good evening.
Do not be fooled by fake numbers. Know the real numbers. From July 1, 2020.